Hey man, take care, man.
You want to race?
Nah. The cop's right there, man. Damn! Hello everyone. Have you ever recorded a video and realized the sound wasn't recording? Pretty annoying. A little bit like Nigel Farage actually. He's come out in the wake of the Adam Smith Institute releasing a poll that was saying that young people feel increasingly less safe in the UK. So of course now there's an established discourse, an established decision, an established demographic. Nigel Farage has come out and mentioned it. Because of course he can't do that before someone else has already made up his mind for him. Just ask his prison czar. Anyway, so it turns out that 6 in 10 young people fear they could become victims of violence in their communities, a new study has found. I think this is shocking. You know, I think this never used to be the case. And of course, we all know the reason why that this is happening, but did Farage say any of that? No. Only Reform have the guts to take back control of our streets. Nigel Farage says, doesn't mention how, doesn't mention in any way how he's going to do that, but you know, he does mention a little bit more here on this video.
So successive Home Secretaries tell us crime is falling. Please don't worry, your poor little heads, crime is falling. Well, that doesn't include shoplifting, doesn't include fraud, and doesn't include even things like carrying a firearm. It's totally outdated. We go with police recorded crime, but we know that many crimes, in fact, I think now most crimes, don't even get reported. What we want.
Just like the grooming gangs, that's how they got away with the grooming gangs for so long. The police just didn't record the crimes.
Are real experts with real knowledge coming in and helping us forge not just policy, but action in government too. A career politician with almost no life experience becomes a minister, does it for 2 years, then gets moved on to a different department. You wouldn't run a company like that, and we certainly should not be running a country like that. And that's why Colin Sutton joining us, the most famous living police detective and someone that understands old school policing and the old school training of police.
So here's the problem I have with this. I like the idea, I like the approach, right? Bringing experts into a position. It's just, he's an old police officer, used to old systems and old ways of policing. That country doesn't exist. That country is gone. That is not good enough for the 21st century. We need new policing, new forms of policing, new ways of policing. There's way better ways of doing it than what we're currently doing. I don't think bringing back an old school Bobby to try and reform the policing in the UK is a good step, because we all know it's a pretty simple solution. We just need to start deporting people. But this guy, I mean, we get comments like this where they come back and they try and push back against the results of this data. People have come in and they said they feel less safe in this country. But people like this come and say, yeah, the real violent crime victimization rate is barely 3%. And his argument is that politicians are just stoking up people's anxiety in order to implement the reforms that they want to put through or to get the support that they need. And maybe there's something in that. But I think 3% is a huge amount of people. That's 3 in every 100 people get victimized in some way by violent crime. And that's not a big deal. That's not a big deal. You know, the national average is only 1.5%. But within the age group of, I believe it's 16 to 28 or 16 to 24, it's up to 3%. So it's double the national average for that age group. And that's not a problem. That's not something you should be talking about. Because this guy, like many others, they get triggered by the reaction of people and they try to stop that reaction rather than actually stopping the problem. It's a weird... I can't really understand that kind of that framework. I always want to just go to the problem and stop that. And again, it's mass deportations. What it isn't is putting a fucking sticker on the ground.
A mobile phone is snatched every 15 minutes in this part of London alone. It's a major problem. Criminals riding up on e-bikes or mopeds and literally nicking devices out of people's hands. Oxford Street, Europe's busiest shopping road, is a hotspot for these sorts of crimes. And it's here where purple signs have been laid out along the pavement.
So instead of actually solving the problem, arresting the little bastards, right, deporting them, they're just going to put a marking on the ground, just letting you know that you're in a dangerous area. Hey guys, sorry, we're not going to do anything about the problem, but if you look down, you'll be able to see a nice little sign here that says, you're about to get fucked. Watch out. Cheers. Nice one. That'll solve everything. And this is what I'm talking about, guys. They do not solve the problem. And then we've got this thing here, right? This is Sadiq Khan. If you didn't know, he's in charge of the Metropolitan Police. Pretty much everything they do, he has to sign off on. And they've been closing down a lot of their front desks, and those are places where people can drop in, speak to a police officer in person, and actually get something done. So they've been closing all of those things, you know, as the riots around the country pick up. You wonder where, you know, obviously, it costs a lot of money and manpower to police the native citizens of this country. So maybe that's probably why they're closing these front desks. Maybe they don't have enough money to keep them going. I mean, it is expensive suppressing the people.
Deputy Mayor, why isn't the Mayor here?
He didn't even turn up.
Because I'm the Deputy Mayor for Police and Crime.
Yes, I know, we all know that. But since the Mayor is making this decision, why isn't he here?
The Mayor has sent me as his Deputy Mayor for Police and Crime.
I've heard your
times.
statement. So tell me, when was the Mayor actually told this was happening?
The Mayor has, as well as all of us, been involved in the conversations about the budget since September.
How is it, guys, that we're in a position in this country where we have a bunch of foreigners who can barely speak, can barely understand the question they're being asked, or they're just retarded, or they're lying to us? I don't know. I don't care. But how have we got to this position where MPs, councillors, deputy mayors, they're all foreigners? They all seem to be doing things that are harming this country and acting against the interests of the people. And it's been going on for quite a long time. It doesn't make sense, guys. This should not be happening in a country that is proud of itself or wants to survive. You know, just wants to survive.
September last year.
So he knew about the front counters closing last September, did he?
No, he knew about the need to look through the...
Yeah, no, we all know that. When was he told that the front counters were closing?
All of us, the Commissioner outlined proposals for tough choices in autumn last year.
Can you just tell me, when was he actually told, or was he asked, that they were actually closing? Was he consulted, or was he just told that the front counters were closing? Which is it?
He was consulted.
Okay, he was consulted, and then, look, this goes on for another minute. I'm not doing that. She was consulted. He was consulted. She confesses to that. And he was actually told quite a while ago. I think it was I can't remember. Anyway, the point is, he knew about it for quite some time, and he was consulted on it. So he signed off on it, guys. Because you're not going to fix the country when you've got the system itself that's rotten. How are these people been placed into this position? They are fucking hated in this country. They are loathed. Two men that are probably the two most hated people in this country right now. How are they the mayor and the prime minister? How has that system managed to prop them up and put them there and keep them there? Because we can't solve anything if that is the system. If that is the end result of the current system, then the current system is rotten. The current system needs to be taken down. We need a new system. I mean, that's just common sense, guys, is it? I mean, I'm not talking nonsense, right? You can't rely on a system that produces this. Or this, you know? This is Southend in the UK, and it's pretty depressing, you know? Could be anywhere in Africa or the third world. I don't want these people here. They're not offering us anything. Their IQs are too low. We have imported low IQ, third world migrants into a high IQ or high trust open society. It's like you couldn't design this to be worse. Really, you couldn't. It is as literally as bad as you could possibly. If you were trying to do a horrible act to a country, if you were trying to destroy a country or make its people just flip the fuck out, then this is the kind of stuff that I probably recommend doing. But at least one MP, and I keep talking about Rupert Law, you might be sick of it, I don't really care. The reason I like talking about him is because he's one of the only ones that actually comes up with solutions. Most MPs that you will see will talk about the problem. They'll talk about the problem all fucking day. Nigel Farage is perfect at this. Nigel Farage will stand on stage for a 45-minute speech, and he will just waffle on for 40 minutes before he maybe gives something in the last couple of minutes at the end. He's just not a man of principle, and he's not a man of his words. This man is, and that's why I like showing his videos.
What I meant was, and I mean it, is if our legal system doesn't allow us to detain and deport, we should set up a tented camp on an island. We should not treat them unfairly, but we should equally not put them at the top of waiting lists for dental treatment, for medical treatment. We should not give them spending money. We should not effectively treat them as if they have been taxpayers for years. They haven't been. They are illegal migrants. 2 words: detain, deport.
And he's been saying this for a long time now, and that's just the illegals, by the way. He also wants to get rid of the legal migrants that are here fraudulently or that are here just taking the piss, living off benefits and their families. Get rid of all them too. He's not going to stop at the illegals. And again, that's someone that's recognizing a problem and is coming up with a solution, which if you watch Nigel Farage, well, he just doesn't do that. And we can't live in a country ruled by people that don't do that. Time for a change, guys.
Stop that.
If raising legitimate concern